On the journey to becoming the best version of yourself, what you don't do is equally important as to what you do. It's futile putting so much effort in while there are multiple leaks in your boat that's still going to drag you down. Are you confident you're not doing those things which are hindering your potential? It's time to find out. Let's go over the mistakes which are preventing you from completely exiting the beta lifestyle. Only when you cut off the dead weight will you be able to start sprinting towards the actual you, the superior you. Without any further ado, let's get into it. Number 1. Letting fear win. Notice how much of your life is dictated by your fears. Do you not attempt difficult tasks because you're afraid you'll fail? Do you not pursue your real passions and dreams because you're afraid others will judge you for attempting or succeeding? Do you avoid extending to people, going to social events, or putting yourself out there because you fear rejection? Staying stuck in a fixed fear-based mindset will get you absolutely nowhere. Unless you consider dying from a heart attack in your mid-40s and being found covered in Cheeto dust hunched over in your dank recliner as, quote-unquote, somewhere. Number 2. Caring too much about what people think of you. Are you crippled by others' opinions of you? Well, stop it. The truth is this: everyone has their own stuff going on. People barely think about you, let alone have the time to. And even if someone else does invest their time and energy tracking you and what you're doing, if they're talking bad about you, whether in their heads or out loud, who the hell cares? You're going to die one day. I promise. Do you want your life to have been about not upsetting anyone? Do you want your primary lifelong motivation to have come from avoiding rousing other people's judgments of you? What a waste of a life that approach is. Understand this: you are going to upset someone always, no matter what. You either live a life that is true to yourself, and some other people might notice and judge you for it, or you live a life that is, if this was even possible, acceptable to everyone else, and in the process, end up being upset with yourself because you'll be swallowing what's true for you. As the saying goes, if you want to avoid criticism, say nothing, do nothing, be nothing. Number 3. Eating terribly. If you're cramming low-nutrient, high-calorie noise, or what I like to call loser fuel into your body, then over time your body and mind will be inherently worse than if you were giving yourself high-octane fuel to run on. Cut out soda and alcohol and any food items that you could semi-jokingly refer to as plastic, poison, or cement, and it would make sense. If the majority of your diet consists of fake foods that were manufactured by a lab, then you deserve to have a stupid, ineffective brain that doesn't function like it is capable of functioning. What else can you expect from garbage in, other than garbage out? Number 4. Wasting away your time on things that you know don't add anything to your life. Tell me, do you really need to spend 20 hours a week studying sports stats? Does staying up until 3 a.m. scrolling through your Instagram feed make you smarter? Is there any benefit to checking your email, Instagram, or cell phone every 20 minutes? If you're stuck in a loser spiral, it's because you haven't been allocating your time appropriately. But guess what? There's no need to judge yourself. Simply make better decisions about where you put your time and attention, and you'll be good. Number 5. Spending time with negative people who mock your dreams and ambitions. The fastest and most effective life hack of all of the life hacks comes down to this: who you spend your time with matters. Jim Rohn had it right. We become the average of the 5 people we spend the most time with. If you spend most of your time with the same 5 broke, out of shape, people who sit around getting wasted and complaining, then you will slowly become that. On the other hand, if you spend most of your time around conscientious, caring, generous, loving individuals who are in good shape and are intentional about what thoughts they allow into their mind, then you will eventually become that. If you currently spend a lot of time around people who are always complaining and putting down yours and other people's dreams, it's time to cut them loose. You aren't doing yourself or them any favors by steeping yourself in their toxic mindset. Of all of the decisions in your life that you should be the most ruthless around, this is numero uno. Do not settle for toxic, enabling relationships that drag you down. They will drain your soul and make you miserable. And you will be the only one to blame for having allowed it. I can't overstate the importance of this point enough. Number 6. Be ruthless about cutting out all of the things in your life that make you feel awful. I hope you're getting the gist of it now. You must take the trash out. All of it. Don't wait for it to somehow just happen by itself naturally over time. It will never be until you get up and take initiative. This is the only way you can create the space to bring in good things. If you need to take a metaphorical machete to your life and hack your way through all of the weeds you have built up in your mind, in your actions, in your beliefs, and even in your relationships, then do it. You can't let go of being a beta unless you let go of all of your beta habits, friends, and thoughts. Number 7. Being selfish. Betas are incredibly selfish. Why? Because their mindsets are steeped in fear. They fear that there isn't enough for everyone. Everyone's out to get them. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, all of that bull. They're always thinking about what they can get from others. Betas obsess over how they can get, much more than they think about how they can give. If you're always thinking about yourself and never about others, then you need to start counteracting this as soon as possible. Number 8. Licking your own wounds. If you hold back on leaning into your potential because you experienced pain in the past, then you're simply using this as an excuse to not deploy courage in real time, which is what a true beta does. Does telling your sob stories get you energy, attention, and a sense of significance? Do you feel important when people say, "Oh wow, that must have been so tough. No wonder you've had such a rough time getting out of this rut, and you've been telling the same story for years"? Recognize the secondary payoff you get by not moving past this, and then stop telling the story. The past is the past. Take responsibility for yourself and move forwards. Number 9. Being inactive and lazy. It's just the truth, betas ignore their bodies. If we neglect our bodies, these incredible biological machines that do so much for us, then we deserve to have them stage a revolt against us. Our bodies are like cars. We can either ignore them and eventually have them rust up and turn into the hideous junker that's just sitting out in the rain, completely unusable. Or we can treat them phenomenally well and have them perform like supercars. I suppose that's where the analogy breaks down. Because if you put a 200 horsepower load on a 100 horsepower engine, the engine breaks. Whereas when you put a 200 horsepower load on your 100 horsepower muscle, your muscle becomes a 200 horsepower muscle. Our bodies are brilliant, adaptive, and even wise. Treat them like the gifts that they are. Lastly, number 10. Doing things that weaken you. Pay close attention to all of the things that you do in a normal week. Then notice how many of those things actually sap energy from you and make you weaker. In the long run, does getting blacked out drunk give you more than it takes? Or is it a net negative experience? Probably the latter. Cut it out. Hanging out with your friends who love to spend hours smoking pot and complaining about everything in their lives might feel good in the moment because you get to connect over something. But is it actually ruining your life more than it helps it? See reality and change social circles. Do you watch the news because you think that it's important to stay up to date on current events, but you end up just feeling more fearful, demotivated, and listless? Stop putting that noise into your head. If you're playing small, afraid of life, and feeling miserable, then this is simply a management issue. Stop doing the things that make you feel so trash, and you'll feel less trash. I know. What a revolutionary idea, but it works, and that's all that matters. Well then, there you have it. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure you support the channel by dropping a like down below and subscribing for more content in the near future. See you in the next one. Stay blessed.